So getting the gold back out has always been about making gold into a better, more usable money for everyday commerce.
Today, we're fortunate to be joined by Jeremy Cordon. He's the CEO of Goldback, also the founder of Goldback. Here's a couple of Goldbacks for you to look at. It's an innovative product which helps facilitate the use of gold and silver as legal tender. We're going to talk about the gold and silver market. We're also going to dive into some specifics about Goldback. Jeremy, welcome to Ron's Basement.
Well, thank you. I appreciate being in Ron's basement.
Yeah. So how did this all get started? The whole Goldback movement.
That's a good question. My partner, Larry Hilton, and I have been trying to get people to use gold and silver as sound money since about 2011. If you go back, Larry Hilton, he wrote the Legal Tender Act of Utah in 2011 and helped get that passed through. And, he wasn't a lawmaker or anything. He was just some guy watching the presidential debates. He was watching Ron Paul, and they talked about inflation as a tax. And he thought, this is a huge problem. I should write a bill and get it passed. And he did, which is, to me, just incredible that our legal system and our republic works that way. That you can write a bill, get a lawmaker to, introduce it and get it passed into law. And that law actually got more attention, than any other bill that was passed in 2011 in Utah. So it's kind of been that impetus of, how do we get people to use gold as money? Because once that law was passed, people weren't using gold coins. They weren't using gold and silver coins in their transactions. And I think he thought they would. So getting the gold back out has always been about making gold into a better, more usable money for everyday commerce.
Okay, kind of to help facilitate, like I said at the beginning, the ability to use gold and silver as legal tender. If we zoom out a bit and look at what's going on in the world right now, we have world central banks, world sovereign wealth funds that are accumulating record amounts of gold. We even hear, talk of a new world reserve currency with the BRICS nations based by gold. We look at the United States, on a federal level, obviously there's no movement toward, reclaiming the gold standard or anything like that. But on a state by state basis, there's a wave of states, a movement going on to pass gold and silver legal tender legislation. And then I think even on an individual level, it feels like to me there's a growing number of people who are reclaiming their right to be their own central bank, if you will, by holding silver and gold. Do you see that from your perspective with Goldback? Do you see more and more people? Do you have any comments on what's going on throughout the world and even, on an individual basis here in the US?
There's definitely a lot more concern about the currency and the status of the dollar than I've ever seen before. And, a lot of people have seen in a long time, where we have all this inflation, we're losing that, reserve currency status around the world. BRICS came out a couple of days ago announcing that they're looking at developing like a gold standard for BRICS, and that was huge news. What we're doing with Goldback is really about giving people alternatives to the dollar, so, if you have 100 Goldbacks, it's a very spendable, usable form of gold that people are using instead of the dollar because they don't want to own dollars. I get a lot of pushback from, certain people in the precious metals community, and they get upset and they say, well, Goldback, you got, 100% premium on there. I can buy cheaper gold. And I guess my rebuttal to that would be, yeah, but what are you going to do with the cheaper gold? You're not using your 1 ounce gold coin as money. I mean, your plan is to eventually sell that 1 ounce gold coin and get cash for it. Your plan is to turn it into Federal Reserve notes. And why? Because you can spend Federal Reserve notes. That other people will accept them. what we've done with the Goldback is we've made gold nice enough to kind of skip the whole Federal Reserve note step. We're finding that half of small business owners are willing to take these Goldbacks, and that's true for any state in the country.
Mhm.
It's a way that people are boycotting the US dollar, that don't want to
Right.
participate anymore.
And preserving their wealth through precious metals. I think there's a precious metals component to a Goldback, and there's a utility component to a Goldback. And I
Yes.
want to point out, because I'm always skeptical of everything, right? And I have a couple Goldbacks here; they're beautiful, and I'm one of those people who would have said, "Oh, the premiums, 100% premium." But you can spend Goldbacks, and I think a lot of the stackers out there might also argue, well, I could spend my gold, I could spend my silver coins, but like you said, taking a 1 ounce gold coin to try to buy groceries might be a difficult task.
Try
And
to
then
try to do it with a 10th ounce gold coin.
yeah, and if you
Even
break it down,
silver. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, but if you break it, because I think this is important to point out to people that if you okay, well, fine, you shave off a little bit of your gold and you have some gold shavings or a little piece of gold shot. There's nothing on there stamped or otherwise that indicates what the weight is, what there's no security feature. There's
Sure.
no, right.
No, I mean, you're going back to, that's pre-coins.
Mhm.
You're going back 3,000 years ago to, be bartering with a piece of gold shot.
Right.
And the beauty is we don't really have to do that anymore. It's an old problem, and it's been referred to as the small coin problem. And that's that you couldn't really make gold small enough to buy small things, right? So, if you go back to Roman times, it's like you got the little bronze coin, kind of like the widow's mite, and that might buy your loaf of bread. A silver coin, that could get a whole wedding feast full of bread. A gold coin is a grain shipment from Egypt.
Mhm.
It's by far the better metal between silver and copper to use, and that's part of why it's more valuable. But you couldn't get it small enough to really be convenient, and that's what the Goldback is all about. And I like what you said about, you kind of have two halves of the value of a Goldback. You have kind of the melt value, the gold value of it. And then you have this utility value too. And I think a lot of people kind of get confused there. But you ask the question, why would you accept this $20 bill as payment for anything? What's the premium on the $20 bill? What's the melt value?
Right. Right.
Like it's not even the right question. At that point, the answer is, well, I would take a $20 bill because I know somebody else would take it. We're playing musical chairs with this thing, and I have enough confidence between now and the time I spend this that the music won't stop.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Yeah.
Like that's the magic of the $20 bill, is that someone else will take it, and we'll keep playing hot potato, and maybe we'll all gradually lose over time, but this is the best we've done.
Mm-hmm.
And Goldback, it's similar. So if I were to melt down this one Goldback, it'd get me about $2 worth of gold. That's not really the point of a Goldback. We don't want people to melt down a Goldback because you destroy the other half of the value, which is the utility value. And I could say, hey, if you take an ounce of gold and you split it into 1,000 pieces and they're serialized, and they've got anti-counterfeiting features, they've never been counterfeited, and there's lots of things that we can say to justify the premium, but really it's a utility value. This one is actually produced at a loss by our manufacturing company. Believe it or not, it's very difficult to produce something like this, for $1 or whatever it is.
Right.
It's a technological challenge to make gold this small, this affordably. Before Goldbacks, if you wanted to go this small with fractional gold, you're looking at 200 to 300% premiums. We got it down below 100. So we're actually really proud of it.
Right.
But I know there's a bit of a learning curve for people that were taught for decades that, if you're paying more than 1% or 2% over spot, you're basically throwing your money into the fire. And, that's just not the case with Goldback at all.
Right. So to be clear to the viewers, the one Goldback bill, I guess I don't know if you call them bills, but the one Goldback like I'm holding here, I have a Wyoming Goldback, is equal to 1/1000th of an ounce of gold. So from melt perspective, like you said, it's about $2 worth of gold. However, there is that utility value on top of it, and there's security built into it, serial numbers. Very difficult to counterfeit, I imagine.
Never been done.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you're a counterfeiter, what would you choose to counterfeit? Would you choose to counterfeit a gold coin with a $2,000 payoff? Takes $30,000 worth of equipment to get started, or are you going to go $5 million into vacuum deposition? This isn't foil. This is vacuum deposition. This is, if you have your computer has gold in it that was placed there through vacuum deposition. This is used in microchips. This is probably the most high-tech bullion product in the world in terms of the creation process for it.
Mm-hmm.
But, it costs money to do that.
Right. So if someone were to acquire some Goldbacks and then want to use them, let's say in Utah or one of the states where they're issued, it is up to the merchant as to whether or not they accept them.
Sure.
But how much would a one Goldback be worth if I went to a sushi restaurant and they accepted Goldbacks? How would the value be determined? Just out of curiosity.
So if you go to the website, I'm going to share my screen here with you.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you got to enable screen sharing. If you enable screen sharing, I can show you.
I don't know that I can because I use the mobile app.
Gotcha. Okay, forget it then.
So
if you go to goldback.com, there's a calculator and you can see the price of a Goldback, the trading value of a Goldback changes day to day. And that'll allow you to calculate how many Goldbacks you would owe in a given transaction.
Okay.
Right now it's
about,
sorry, go ahead.
Well, you were going to answer my question before I so rudely interrupted you. Measured in US dollars, I imagine.
Yep. So let's say it's a $20 transaction. I can put into the calculator, hey, I owe them $20. It's going to tell me, okay, go ahead and pay 5 Goldbacks. They owe you 5 cents and change.
Gotcha.
So that's what people are using.
Okay, interesting. How many people have you reached with Goldbacks? Any idea how many individuals throughout the world own Goldbacks?
About 1 million.
About 1 million. Wow.
About 1 million. Yeah. We've sold about $80 million worth of Goldbacks so far. By the numbers, Goldbacks are the most successful local currency in US history. By the numbers, Goldbacks, we've done the most. We've got, the most, I guess, users. Mm-hmm. And we're the most, I'd say, since we came off the gold standard in 1971, Goldback is the most successful physical sound money project in the world.
I need to correct you. It was just temporary, they say, when Nixon took us off.
When it was temporarily suspended. Yeah. We could go back on the gold standard any day, but
right. I was joking when I said that, but yeah, temporary 50 years so far.
Nothing is more permanent than a temporary government program, right?
That allows them to spend as much money as they want. Yeah, I don't think the federal government will be bringing us back. So there's 1 million people that own Goldbacks. Any idea demographically, are these senior citizens that are buying them that remember the Great Depression, or what's any idea on that?
No, it's actually really surprised us so a lot of the Goldback popularity, I'd say a majority of the people that own Goldbacks are between the ages of 18 and 43.
Wow. Okay.
So, it's a lot of people, and 2/3 of them are brand new to precious metals. They've never owned precious metals before. Well, think about it. If you're 18 years old, can you afford a $2,000 gold coin?
Right.
I mean, even if you're concerned about, inflation and everything else, it's unobtainable for you.
Yeah. Something just dawned on me from we were talking about earlier. So if I want to buy a one Goldback now, let's say I'm roughly going to pay $4 for that. Is that a good rough?
Yeah.
Okay. So I convert, I like to use the word convert, not buy. I convert some of my paper fiat money into this Goldback. When I go to spend it, now obviously the price of gold will have a minor impact on it. When I go to spend it at the sushi restaurant, I'm pretty much going to get the whole, if I go to spend it 2 hours later, I'm pretty much going to get my whole amount of, as measured in fiat US dollars, but I'm going to get that entire amount back. Is that safe to say?
You know, we actually structured it a little bit better than that for people that like to save money. So that $4 rate that you're trading at, that's an average amount that people sell Goldbacks for. If you scour the internet, I mean, you can find Goldbacks on Walmart.com. You know, you'll find lots of places that sell Goldbacks. And generally, you know, about half these guys are over that $4 mark. So the $4 is kind of a recommended trading rate because it's an average. I suspect, you know, the outliers will kind of collapse around that price more over time, and we've already seen that. But what that really means is that you can buy below that $4 mark as well. So, for example, Alpine Gold, one of the retailers, I want to say today they're selling closer to 380. So if you're buying your Goldbacks for 380, as you can go out and you can spend $4, and you save 5% anywhere that takes Goldbacks. And people are doing this. You know, I've got, you know, a hardware store right down the road that takes Goldbacks, and I spend them there, and I'm getting a discount by shopping local, which, you know, is one of the drivers for most local currencies. Is you're actually saving money using Goldbacks. And again, you're seeing about a 50% acceptance rate with small business owners in any state. So if you want to talk to your chiropractor or your dentist or your plumber, your contractor, you know, we installed a new AC unit into our house. And this wasn't even one of the Goldback businesses. You know, I just asked the guy because I figured he was the business owner. I said, hey, you know, can I pay you for this with gold? He got so excited. Oh yeah, I'd love to take gold. Well, how many of these would I take? Well, let's hop on goldback.com. Let's look at the calculator. And I paid him, and I saved 5% on my AC unit.
Interesting.
You know, and I didn't have to use dollars, because what really backs the US dollar is you. You back the Federal Reserve note by the fact that you take it and that you're willing to play musical chairs. Now, up until now, people, they haven't really had a better alternative, you know, for physical peer-to-peer transactions. In fact, something that I hear, and you have to think about this one, makes me really sad. A lot of the pushback on central bank digital currencies that I'm seeing, people say, oh no, they can't get rid of cash. They can never get rid of cash. I want cash. Cash is Federal Reserve notes. You're worried about cash, but that's just another Federal Reserve note product.
Right.
You know, at the end of the day, you know, if you want to get out of the system, get out of the system. You know, use something else.
Yeah, I hear a lot of people, especially in the silver and gold community, very afraid when it comes to this notion of, you know, potentially a CBDC. And I don't know, I think possibly from a gold and silver perspective, it could be very good for the value of silver and gold, because what else, if they do outlaw cash, what else will people be able to go to for any form of financial privacy besides gold and silver? I mean, I guess you could buy oil or, I don't know, corn possibly, but
you're going to barter with oil or corn. I think you're right though. CBDCs, the pushback on it is around the idea of privacy. You know, the idea that someone thinks that they have every right to see every transaction you ever do, you know, on some sort of public thing, or better yet, only they can see everything that you ever do. You know, people like cash because it's private. I think people like Goldbacks for the same reason. I have no idea how many of these Goldbacks are circulating other than anecdotal evidence, because it's private. You know, if you don't tell other people about your Goldback transaction, then nobody knows it happened.
Interesting. I had a lot of questions from my audience. 12 hours ago, we scheduled this, or 24 hours ago, but a lot of people chimed in. Right now you're in 4 states, correct? And people are asking, Texas, when will the great state of Texas get a Goldback? And like, same question from South Dakota. Can you share with us any plans for future state rollouts? Or
South Dakota, we're looking later this year. I think we're
Okay.
going to be announcing the date here in about a week.
Mm-hmm.
But it's probably going to be in the month of September for South Dakota. As far as Texas goes, what I really need in a state before I launch a new state is, first I need to get a business network there. Now we have people signing up businesses in Texas, people that would love to accept Goldbacks, and we'll
Mm-hmm.
advertise your business for free if you want to accept Goldbacks. Something that you can do is if you go to goldback.com, there's a business sign up link where you can sign up your business in any state you happen to be in. So if you live in Maine, if you live in Vermont, if you live in Texas or California, eventually our hope is to get to your state. And when we do, we need to have that list of accepting businesses first. So we're looking at ways to get people more excited about or getting the word out there. Because
Mm-hmm.
again, half of small business owners would love to take gold as payment at their business. It's ideal.
Another question that relates to what you were just talking about. Let's say I own a lawn service here in St. Louis, Missouri, where I live, and
Sure.
we unfortunately weren't able to pass our legal tender legislation this year, but nonetheless, and I want to take Goldbacks. Could I take Goldbacks, Utah Goldbacks or Wyoming Goldbacks? Is there, and that was a question that somebody had, like, can you use your Utah Goldbacks in, let's say, another state like Wyoming that has that does? I guess that's a two-part question. Is there any
Sure.
color you can give us on that?
Does the state of Missouri prohibit you from bartering with gold?
I don't know. I don't think so.
I don't think so. I don't think so
Mhm.
either. So I think you
Right.
can. In
Okay.
fact, something that we're starting to do is we're mailing Goldback acceptance stickers to anybody in the country that opts to accept Goldbacks. We're not going to advertise your business if it's outside of one of those 4 or 5 states.
Mm-hmm.
But you can advertise your business as taking Goldbacks, and we'll send you stickers and stuff for you to do that. And that's a great way to get the word out there, to build these kind of grassroots communities. My problem right now is I can't really make enough Goldbacks to service everybody. I'm limited in how many Goldbacks I can actually produce. And if that wasn't the case, there'd already be over $1 billion worth of Goldbacks. It's just, we've been hampered, I guess. Something else that you can do is we have a state sponsorship program. So, and I know you've talked with Alpine Gold before, there's a leasing program where you can buy a pile of Goldbacks, right? And you can lease them back to Goldback, and we'll pay you a return on your Goldbacks. So you get additional Goldbacks every year, right?
Okay. Right. I like that.
And we'll use those to make new states. So that's a
Interesting.
program that exists through Alpine Gold or alpinegold.com. So there's people that are getting a return on their gold doing that. And we can use those to, expand to new states. And you can even read about the state sponsorship program on goldback.com for how to do that. But really where the rubber hits the road for where people are really getting educated is, if you go out into your community, there's a lot of people that don't know about precious metals. They don't know that there's any alternative to the dollar. They're kind of, just in it because, by default. And something that I do and a lot of Goldback users do is they'll take 100 of these guys, they'll stick them in their wallet, right? So you can carry Goldbacks around. So I've got, Goldbacks in my wallet. I spent my 5s and my 10s. And by the way, if you have a cell phone, this is designed to fit in your front pocket. You can put a cell phone on one side of your wallet, and the gold in the wallet will block your cell phone radiation from hitting you.
Oh, interesting.
It's an extra use for a Goldback, right?
There you go.
It's like a radiation shield.
An added health benefit, right?
Added health benefit. But just about everywhere wants a tip nowadays. And when I tip with Goldbacks. So I'll say, hey, here's a piece of gold, and their faces light up. Whoa, wow, that's amazing. Because what you're looking at is 24 karat gold.
Sure.
I'll ask you, Ron, why do you think gold was money to begin with?
Right. It's beautiful.
Because it's beautiful. I mean,
and
you
it's
know right
scarce,
away.
and it's
Well, it's
scarce.
scarce, sure, it's rare and it's durable, and it's got all these great features. But a lot of other things have similar qualities to gold and being rare and divisible. You can do seashells and pearls. And I think a big reason why gold was money is just because it's pretty.
Yeah.
That's why 45% of it's used in jewelry.
Yeah.
So, and this is something that we're looking at the other day. If you were to compare a Goldback in surface area to a gold coin,
Mhm.
this has 9 times the surface area of a 1-ounce gold coin. It
Wow.
has 34 times the surface area of a 1/10 of an ounce gold coin. So that same effect, they got people to agree, everyone to agree that this is money.
Right.
You have it emotionally going on in a Goldback, right?
Yeah.
So it's,
Yeah.
I think the actual number is your gold is 3,400 times more visible in a Goldback than a gold coin.
Yeah. I mean, but before we got on, and Abram had sent me, I think, 8 Goldbacks at one point. Now somehow I only have 2 left, because I've given them away. I had
Right.
one of my great, Joe came by yesterday and delivered this cowbell to me. He's a regular viewer, and I had the Goldbacks out because I was preparing for our interview here, and I gave him one, and his face lit up. Not just because of the reflection of the gold, but and I'll warn all my friends, these last 2 I'm keeping for myself, but I've given them to people that are involved with my channel. If I send out a little thank you package or whatever, and they are beautiful, absolutely, no doubt about it. What is prohibiting you? You talked about kind of a manufacturing constraint. Can that be corrected? I mean, are you thinking about expanding, or any way that you could produce more of these? And as part of that, this was another question I had for you. Do you think that you could at some point see some economies of scale where the premium is affected because of increased production capacity?
Those are all great questions. So first, yes, we are building more machines. We have 2 machines right now that make Goldbacks. We're getting a third that's a lot more powerful. That probably won't be up and running until sometime mid next year. Once we have that up, the next step is probably to do a facility that can do about $1 billion a year worth of Goldbacks.
Okay.
So it'll be like a 10x facility. Even then, that's small in the currency market. But we are seeing that there's interest from foreign central banks in this type of technology. You're already seeing a lot of interest in foreign central banks in gold in general.
Yeah.
And there really just hasn't been a better technological solution than what we do. So economies of scale, sure, you're going to see more Goldbacks produced. You're going to see a lot more of them out there. I don't think that's going to make Goldbacks any cheaper. It might make them more expensive. And I'll tell you why. What determines the value of a Goldback? Maybe I'll just ask you the question. What determines the value of a Goldback?
There's two components. There's the melt value of the gold, which,
Sure.
1 Goldback is 1/1000th of an ounce. So let's say measured in today's rates, $2. But then there's that utility. There's the demand for the utility value. And I would imagine, I don't want to answer your own question for you, but maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong. If there is more mass adoption, maybe similar to like what we saw when the little banking crisis hit 3 or 4 months ago, that premium could actually go up further, because there's not a lot of other 1/1000th of an ounce gold utility products on the market.
No, there's not. And this is something that I had a hard time with early. I said, okay, well, I'd spend all this effort justifying the premium. Well, if you think about it, it costs about $50 to make a coin. It costs about $1 to make a Goldback. So that's a great deal. And, I try to explain this to people, but really the utility half of the Goldback is more interesting because it can appreciate a lot more. And we've already seen this, during COVID, and I brought up this example a few other times. Goldback sold out. There was a couple of weeks though where everyone was scared and all the toilet paper was disappearing. And people were scared their money wasn't going to be worth anything. So
Yeah.
every gold back that was for sale anywhere disappeared. The only place you could buy them at all was on eBay, and they were $50 a piece.
Wow. Wow.
Now, that's not what the rest
Yeah.
of the gold market did, but the rest of the gold market didn't have the same utility as the gold back.
Mhm.
You know, if you were really worried and you had 10 gold coins tomorrow, that you would have to use your 10 gold coins as money, what would you rather have? Would you rather have, you know, a giant stack of gold backs that can be used in hundreds of transactions that were extremely pretty and accepted by everybody, or these 10 gold coins?
Right.
You know, it's probably not the
I'll
10
take,
gold coins, but
I'll
you
take,
know, it's also musical chairs. You know, it's like there's one chair for, you know, being able to buy gold backs, and there's thousands of people milling about, you know, assuming the dollar is going to be fine for a long time, or that they could turn their gold coins in for, you know, for gold backs later.
Mhm.
And, you know, the people that are kind of figuring it out early, they're buying gold backs now, and gold backs have actually appreciated in value more than gold coins over the last 4 years, because again, that utility demand's gone up. So, you know, I think that because there's a choke point in production, that, yeah, maybe eventually, maybe in 20 or 30 years, you know, premiums might level out, you know, and they might go from 100% to 70 or 80%. But there's so much demand for money that I kind of doubt it. I think if anything, central banks will be more interested in this technology if they can sell these things at a 200% premium, because that's the way they can put their gold reserves to work.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. I had a great question from one of my viewers. And first, I just want to make sure I'm correct on this. On a national basis, like you're not allowed to print a national gold back, a U.S. gold back, right? It has to be on a state by state basis in states that have passed legal tender legislation.
No.
Okay, so I had this great question. Can Goldback legally create Goldbacks for private companies or maybe even entire industries? He said, for example, if Walmart wanted a Walmart Goldback and only accepted those as payment at Walmart, could and would, is that possible? I thought that was a great question, something I hadn't thought
It is a great question. To answer your first thing though,
Mhm.
I can't make a United States gold back because under federal law, I can't make my own currency for use at the federal level. Now, as far as using gold backs goes, you can use them in states that allow you to. There's a nifty law that has been passed by all 50 states that we use for gold back. If you read the bottom of a gold back that was made in the last couple of years, it says, this gold back contains 1/1000th of a troy ounce of 24 karat gold, exchangeable by Goldback Inc. in US gold coin to bearer on demand. You ever see like a coupon or a gift card that says it has like a 1 penny cash redemption value?
Yep, or 1/10 of a penny or
Sure.
whatever. Yeah.
That's what we did on these guys. It's the same
Okay.
law. Except what we're saying is if you have 1,000 gold backs of any denomination, we'll let you turn it in for a US minted gold coin. So we've done two things. One, we've said, hey, all the gold in here, you don't have to melt these down to recover it. We'll just give you gold coins for them. And by the way, the largest group of the largest privately held known collection of gold coins and gold eagles and buffaloes backs that promise. That's the United Precious Metals Association. So all the gold backs are backed by this, you know, kind of redemption promise. Not very many people take us up on it because you lose half your value. Not very many people turn in Walmart gift cards to get the 10th of a penny. It's not the point. The point is it ties into the Uniform Commercial Code, which is a state level law that's been passed by 50 states. So the gold backs are legal to use in all 50 of those states, unless they change their laws.
Interesting.
So you don't have to wait for some law, a new law to come to your state to use a gold back. Now, I don't think they might not be able to be used in Washington, D.C. or certain territories or other federal jurisdictions. This isn't a federal thing. It's a state law thing. So that's why there's not a United States gold back. That's the biggest legal hurdle as far as doing that. As far as using gold backs at Walmart, you know, Walmart sells gold backs. If they wanted to make their own gold back.
Yeah, that was the question. Could you make like a Walmart?
That was the question.
Yeah.
If they wanted to make their own gold back, I haven't really considered that. I'd probably say no, just because I think that would cheapen the brand too much.
Mm-hmm.
But this is what we have done is, for private, kind of things, we've
Right.
made silverbacks.
Mm-hmm.
So this silverback, we made it for the Silver Dragons YouTube channel.
Sure. Yep.
There's only 100,000 of this design that could be minted. And this is kind of more of like a collector novelty item. This is one of the purple ones. Last I checked, the purple ones were selling for hundreds of dollars, but there's only 1,000 purple ones made. So, we could do something like this for a private entity, but I don't think we want to, cheapen the brand.
Right.
That's kind of how I feel about it right now.
Right. Yeah, I think his question was, could we understand you can do it on a state by state basis. He even went on to ask, like, could you do it for certain industries or for certain companies that wanted their own, large, like maybe an Amazon, right? That's only, an Amazon Goldback, but
it's technologically possible. I don't know if we do it or not.
If you'd ever do it. Right.
And it might be legally possible, but I don't know. I mean, theoretically, Goldbacks are supposed to circulate in their own states. So Utah circulates in Utah, Wyoming circulates in Wyoming. If you can use any Goldback in any other state, but at that point, it's just treated like gold would be, right? So, if there's no prohibitions on gold in your state, then you could use Goldbacks. And by the way, most Goldbacks sell outside of the Goldback states. 80 to 90% of the Goldbacks aren't being sold in states that have their own Goldback.
That have Goldbacks. I want to circle back one more time to your customer base. You talked about 1 million people that you think have purchased or hold Goldbacks. I've noticed something interesting here on my channel, a trend of more women getting into the stacking, silver stacking, gold stacking arena. My friend Coin Shop Chris, who's a regular on the channel, he's also noticing that at his the coin shop where he works. Do you have any thoughts on that? Have you noticed more? I mean, it feels like 15, 20 years ago when I first got into this, it was just pretty much mostly all men, very few women. But do you see more women? And I don't know if you have access to that data. I was just curious if you had any thoughts on that.
The acceptance rate for Goldbacks among men is a lot higher than women. It's like you're 2 or 3 times more likely to accept a Goldback as payment as a man than as a woman. As far as precious metals in general, I can't really speak to that, but I will say that I think it's gotten better over the last few years. And I think part of the reason why is because the dollar feels less safe.
Yeah.
I think women try to gravitate towards safety, and the dollar isn't perceived as safe. And I think that that's not good news for the dollar.
Yeah. Well, Jeremy, thank you for joining me in the basement. Did I miss anything or any additional information? Goldback.com, is that?
Yep, goldback.com. I thought you had great questions. Like I said, Goldbacks are a great way to introduce people in your network or your community to gold. A lot of people like to give them out as birthday gifts and cards, and they always get a great reaction. It's a really powerful way to educate the younger generations and kids about precious metals. So that's what people are doing. It really empowers people to, I guess, spread the message of sound money. If you have a business in any state and you would like to accept Goldbacks, we'll send you some free stickers. You can sign up on goldback.com to advertise your business. If we come to your state, you'll be on the list. We do need more businesses before we can launch Texas. If I get enough businesses, I think Texas has a strong chance of being the first big state, but I got to get those businesses first. So if you're in Texas, please consider signing up your business or getting your friends to sign up their business. I will tell you this, we've already done the artwork for Texas.
Okay. Interesting. So I guess if I had a big Ron's Basement accepts Goldbacks sign behind me, people could send me Goldbacks as well.
They could. I mean, they could send you Goldbacks even without the sign, but it's a good way to let people know. You want me to send you some stickers?
Yeah, send me some stickers.
I'll send you some stickers. You could put them on that pole behind you or something there. I don't know.
Well, yeah, the gold bear. That's the gold bear. He's
gold bear.
He what's that?
You got a gold bear.
Yeah, the big, well, he's right there, right. He's blindfolded. His blindfold comes off when we hit $2,500 for gold. So
Gotcha.
he'll be needing to advertise something new soon. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
No,
right.
hey,
I'll get you
thank
some
you for
stickers.
joining me. On behalf of all my viewers, thank you. You've shared, a wealth of knowledge, and I think, at least from my perspective, given me a different way of looking at Goldback. And I think you provided a lot of benefits. So thank you.
Thank you. Oh, one other thing I'll mention. We just opened up a Discord channel. So there's actually a Goldback Discord now if you want to keep talking about Goldbacks and get with other people that are trying to get them going in your state.
Okay. Okay. Go check it out. All right. Thanks, Jeremy. Hopefully we'll talk to you again soon.
Okay. All right. Thank you.